In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve.
Indeed, we bring you straight up updates. We bring you perspectives that are unique, and we also keep you abreast with world occurrence. You're welcome to Friday SSM Global International Updates. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajunwa. I'm here in Milan studio, and in Toronto, Canada is our man in coordinating, George Chukwu. You are welcome, George.
Thank you so very much, Mark Godwin, and viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Global Affairs on Friday. Thank you.
Friday Global Affairs, Georgie. Yes, George. The weather is burned. Milan is hot. But we need it because it was cold a couple of weeks ago, but now it's hot. But it gets extreme both
on both sides. Yes, I know.
How is it in Toronto?
Toronto is beautiful. It's beautiful. The weather is amazing. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. So we are enjoying a very perfect weather right now.
All right. One man that enjoys perfect weather 247 throughout the year is Olayinka Raji from Lagos, Nigeria. Olayinka Raji, are you there?
I'm here, man. I'm here in full force.
Good.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Sir George. Good morning, Sir Mark.
Good morning, Olayinka.
Good morning, viewers around the world. Welcome to our Friday program on SSM.
Good. You're welcome too, Raji. Yeah. Gentlemen, apart from the weather, the world is burning. A lot is happening. A lot is happening.
Literally.
I mean, literally, that's it. Yeah, that's it. But before we go into those very hot news, let's do some side news. Also, a Nigerian local news. Let's start with federal government closes case against Nnamdi Kanu after calling about 5 witnesses and going through all their submission. Now they are trying to close the case. George, let me come to you. Does this closing the case, federal government on Kanu, do you think it will bring an end to all of these quagmire on IPOB leader and all this stuff? What do you think, George?
Well, it depends on what closing the case means. Did they rest in their submissions? And then the judge will have to now take over to determine whether to cancel the case or not. What actually is going on here is they presented a lot of testimonies and all that kind of stuff. So the government lawyer chief Adogboyega Awomolo announced the decision after presenting the fifth and final prosecution witness. So the issue right now is they know they don't have any case against him. That's really what the case is. He was given a bail and they basically denied the bail. The thing that I'm hoping is that the defense team led by Kanu Agbabi revealed plans to file a case submission, arguing that Kanu has doesn't have to answer to any more case. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end, because they have always found a way to keep him back, and I honestly believe the person behind that is Buhari, because of all the lies that was told about him. So hopefully they'll be able to dismiss it now. The trial is being had by Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court in Abuja. So, by God's grace, this will just end the whole saga. Let the man come out, and I hope he behaves himself so he gets out. That's my thing there.
Okay, that's your thing there. Thank you. Your thing is deep too. Raji, do we have Raji there? Raji, I think we lost him somehow.
Yeah, I think
okay.
Technical issues there.
Yes, George. It's interesting that this thing has stretched for too long. I mean, I think this is going like 6 years now. Is that am I correct?
It's been a while. It's been a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually it's very unfortunate that it has to be that way, simply because that this guy is an Igbo guy, and that's my thing there. Yes. And once IPOB is mentioned, they rise up so much. We see what is happening in the north. We see what is happening in the central belt. We see all the Fulanis coming to kill people, destroy people with guns and knives. And yet when they are arrested, they will let them out through the back window and then get them all married and all that. But this young man, because he was agitating for self-determination, which is a constitutional it agrees with the constitution that you can, because there are so many people in the Oduduwa, republic that are doing the same thing, and they're still out there. But this man, simply because of this, and they have arrested him, kept him indoors unjustifiably for this length of time. Justice needs to serve, and they need to bring him out. But our prayer, like I said, is when he comes out, to please behave himself, because many young people have been massacred because of this young man. Thousands has been displaced and killed in Igbo land because of this man. And because as a result of this particular situation, when you go to Igbo land right now, every 5 kilometers you go, you will see military men standing, and yet they cannot use those military men in Borno, in Nasarawa, and other places to stop all the insurgency and the terrorist act of the Fulani herdsmen. So that's my take on it. Okay, strong take. But George, the case against him, like we heard, some of what we heard is during the COVID, during that the NSAS saga. They said he was part of that escalation of violence. That he told some people to commit some acts. Now, some of those witnesses that were called to give their testimony said yes, but there are no evidence that it's him directly that was giving those orders. So what we know is, as much as he has a right to self-determination, I mean, all that, but when you are accomplishing violence, what is happening here is Nigeria is happening to Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria is happening to him. All these are trumped up charges. They hold no ground constitution, in the legal department. They trump up all these charges, and they know that they are wrong, and they're using those excuses to keep this man behind bars, because one individual doesn't want him out. That's what it is, whether we like it or not. We tell the truth as we see it.
Anyway, the case against Kanu, as we heard here in the studio, is it's a 7-count case. No, 8 of it. Sorry. 8
terrorism.
Charge of terrorism, yes, filed at the Federal High Court, and witnesses have all come to talk about what they saw. A total of 120 police officers were killed during that NSAS, and many other
100 and what?
128 policemen
were killed.
Yes, in the NSAS protests, and about 10 DSS officers also lost their lives. So he's held on those charges, aggravating violence, telling people to go kill the policeman, to go. That's what we heard. So let's see how all of this rounds up. And
are you sure you're correct with the the number of police officers that were killed.
Yes,
officers,
that's what we heard.
120 police officers killed.
Yes, all over Nigeria. Yes, that's what we heard. That's what the charges.
Okay, read. How many people? How many students were killed? How many youths were massacred?
Numbers. Sometimes they would do it to back
because I'm trying to find out. Most of the killing that took place at the toll gate.
No, NSAS, and this was prior to the COVID. I mean, during the COVID era, I remember. So the NSAS own was the report. It's there in the data. Is 128 police officers were killed all around Nigeria. So we don't know how they got those digits.
I don't know where they get those numbers from. This is all charges that are being trumped up.
Yes.
Because what we know is that a bunch of youths were massacred at the toll gate, and they buried the bodies, hid the bodies, and denied the massacre, which eventually the truth came out that their bodies were still in the morgue. And they were behind the scenes paying off the parents of some of those some of those young people that were killed. So that's what we're hearing about 128 officers being killed.
Yes.
I don't know where they get those figures from.
Yeah, we don't know where they get those, but that's what channels, that's what RIs and some other media homes are reporting. 128. Let's see if Raji can make it now. Raji, your network, is it coming up? Good.
It's back. I've been yelling for you to let me in.
Yeah, because the thing was bouncing. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, Raji. Raji, we're talking about Kano facing charges.
I heard George.
Tell us.
I heard George.
Okay.
And I agree with most of what George is saying. And I've said it repeatedly that it is easy for the federal government to treat the Southeast as a conquered territory. And therefore you can have a lot of policemen monitoring their activities rather than being concentrated, policemen and soldiers in the Southeast rather than being concentrated where the trouble actually is. You saw when the people in Benue State were trying to do some protest, the amount of policemen and security people that were around. Where were they when the vandals, when the barbarians were murdering people across the Middle Belt, across Benue? Now, I think Nnamdi Kanu's mouth put him into all this trouble.
That's what I believe too.
If he had been more matured in his pronouncements, if he had toned down his hatred, I'm sure he would not be in this position. The federal government under Buhari was afraid of the kind of momentum that he was building up against in his demand for Biafra. I've always believed that the demand for Biafra is a legitimate demand. In fact, I've even suggested that instead of renaming the Gulf of Biafra, Gulf of Guinea, I think that name should be reverted to its original Gulf of Biafra, and let us face the challenges instead of running away from challenges.
Well, let me help you here. Let me help you here, Raji. But do you guys know that the word Biafra has something to do with the Igbos?
Of course.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
You also know that.
I know that.
You also know that the Biafra thing, the whole concept of Biafra, isn't what this proscribed IPB is carrying. It's a different thing totally.
The Biafra has come to stay, whether it is for the Southeast or for the whole Eastern region. Whatever the concept is behind Biafra, it has come to stay. So it has better not be, whether IPOB is actually for Biafra or Biafra is actually for IPOB, that is now moved. The name is there to stay. The name has always been there for the Gulf of Guinea. It was changed to the Gulf of Guinea. It has always been Gulf of Biafra. So maybe that's where Ojukwu got that Biafra concept. And by making it Biafra, he wanted to bring in even the people in the Niger Delta area. Even though those guys did not really buy into the Ojukwu's concept of secession. But having said that, it is in Nnamdi Kanu's mouth that has put him in trouble. The figures of policemen killed, I think is not true.
Okay.
More people might have been killed at the toll gate than policemen across the country. Yes. So as George said, just pulling out a number from your heart does not necessarily make it true. I don't think up to 128 policemen were killed.
I never had that. Not it's just these people just maybe finding something to put on him because it was the NSAS protest was a civil protest. They didn't carry guns. They didn't carry anything. The agitation came in the toll gate. That was what happened. And these young people had no weapons, and they massacred them. So I believe that the reason why they're bringing 128 soldiers killed all over Nigeria was simply because to make it more criminal towards the NSAS rather than the truth. It's not a truth. It's a lie. There's no way that number was correct. They trumped it up, they put it there.
It's abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Anyway, thank you, Raji. Viewers, we're talking about Nnamdi Kanu, that British Nigerian political activist that advocates for independence of the Biafra from Nigeria. He's the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, they call it, which he founded in 2014. So let's see what happens after these closing the case thing. And but I really want people to know that the Biafran thing, this IPOB, is a totally different thing from what Ojukwu and all those other people started in those days. They are all probably different. Young people are mixing it up, Raji. A lot of young people now are just mixing things up. They don't understand what the thing really stands for. So that's why not every Igbo man sees with IPOB, because it's a different movement altogether. George, I think I'm correct.
You are 100% correct. I've never supported IPOB. You know, I've always stand for Igbo Nation. I've always stood for Igbo Nation, just like Oduduwa Republic for the Yorubas. So, you know, IPOB is a concept that was brought by an individual, you know, to propagate and to, you know, fight. But those things killed a lot of our children. And you would rather just, and it's cost trillions upon trillions of naira, you know, to the eastern region because of, you know, we are into business. Up until today, in many places, you cannot go out on Mondays, you know, and we know how much it's cost a lot of businesses in the eastern part of Nigeria.
That's one aspect I still do not understand. If you are fighting for the liberation of your people, why do you now restrain them from doing their businesses, especially on the Monday?
And
It's Monday, a ritual day for IPOB or something.
And also, why do you inflict pain on your people? The people you're trying to liberate, you're inflicting pain. You know, they go around killing these young people, scattering market women. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
That is a very stupid ideology. I must stop. Very stupid ideology, honestly speaking. It's cost us so much in life and in properties and economy, you know. So they need to stop it. They need to stop.
Anyway, there's a young man also in Finland that carries that mindset, and he has also been able to galvanize some people under the IPOB thing. The young man called
Simon Ekpa.
Now he's been released. Actually, the Finnish government has allowed him, but I think he still has some things to answer. We're still monitoring the situation with Simon too.
I thought Nigeria was trying to
Yes,
send him back to Niger
extradite
to
him
start.
home.
Yeah. So what's
You see,
happening with that
I don't know. I think they lost that.
Finland has no extradition treaty
treaty
with
with
Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay.
If in all this IPOP thing, you see, I see it just as a victimization of the people of the Southeast
That's
because
it.
you people are irrepressible.
That's
I
how
don't
it
think
is.
that IPOP have done enough as much terror and killing and murder more than the Boko Haram and the bandits. Boko Haram and bandits together might have killed more than 10,000, more than 2,000. Let me put it at an estimate: more than 2,000 soldiers. Some of whom we have seen in video being beheaded, which is very, 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 very terrible. And yet the federal government has not done anything to that area. Meanwhile, a village in Ukwama or is it Ido was wiped out from the face of the earth with poor, repressed people being killed and being vandalized, being thrown into the village because some some soldiers got into the community, whether legally or illegally, and they were killed because they got involved in some communal mischief. The whole village was the chief of defense staff, the president issued a directive that the village should be wiped out. And those villages are wiped out. Children, old women, old people, were all wiped out.
Thank you very much. Updating us with those information is vital.
Yes.
Viewers, you're tuned into our Friday International Update. George, let's come to your end. How was the G7 meeting? We know it's gone, it's come and gone now. But how was it in Kaninaski?
Yeah.
Yes. What
Yeah,
were
we're
they?
working at it. They call it the 57th and the 51st G7 held at Kananaski. It's one of the territories of the indigenous people here, and it's a beautiful place. And this meeting was the second time it's being held after 2020. I think it's either 2020 or something like that. It was another one was held there. But anyway, they ended the meeting. Trump left the meeting after the first day, and we saw the reason why he left. It was a necessity for him because he had to go to the situation room to monitor what was going on and to make a final report about the support or lack of support of America behind Israel Iranian attacks. So this year they discussed quite a few number of things, which most of them will be shared, much later. But for now, they were saying that they discuss issues, challenges and opportunities that are happening within the G7 nations, and all of this will be how to put together, bring solutions to a lot of issues that are being faced, and that is including, the Iranian Israel war and the Gaza war also. So Trump mentioned that he had a few contracts signed, which we don't know what. There was no details about those contracts that were signed. So more details will be coming out later, regarding all the deals that were reached and all the solutions that they brought forth to solve some of these problems.
Good one, George. George representing wonderfully. Thank you, George, for that update. So, viewers, that was a rundown of what happened at Kananaski, Toronto, Canada, where Canada chaired this year's G7, hosted leaders
May I ask?
US,
Yeah,
France,
but also, one of the major announcement that we are hearing also is the discussion that we are having regarding the digital transition, with AI and all those. So we will still have to get some details regarding what did they reach, because AI technology is a very fantastic modern technology, but there are some abuses that are coming out of it big time.
Yes.
So those are some of the things. They spoke about the peace and security and the global economy. They covered those things. So when we get details, maybe possibly Monday, we can do it on our Monday news.
Good one. Yeah, Raji, go ahead. Raji, you were going to add.
No, I wanted to ask Sir George. Kananaskis seems to be an indigenous name. I just wanted to know how many of indigenous people are still alive in those areas.
Well, the question, that's a good question. There's quite a few number of them, but most of them are in, what you call, they put them in certain areas protected where they can maintain their culture and tradition and all those type of things. And in most of those areas where they live, it's not as civilized because they wanted to maintain a certain
It is deliberate.
atmosphere. Well, yeah, it could be deliberate, but they're saying that they don't want to mix with the population. They don't want to mix with the civilization. Therefore, we give them a place where they can maintain their culture and their religion and all those. Whether it was done intentionally to take over most of their lands, well,
and then they will supply them with enough alcohol to
alcohol. That's one crazy thing, George, about most of indigenous people. They tend to live a life of hopelessness. It
is forced on them. It is forced on them. When you move indigenous people into IDP camps, and then you surround them, and then you make sure that they don't come out to claim their land. It is deliberate, and then you supply them with things that are not even local to them, and mess up their minds. Let's go on to other matters.
Is that true?
It has been practiced everywhere.
I know most indigenous people in America,
in that's exactly
States,
what they do.
Yes, most indigenous people in the United States,
in New Zealand, in Australia, in Papua New Guinea, they mess them up. Not that they are messed up, they mess them up. They mess them up. The colonialists mess them up so that they can take their land. The same thing happened in South Africa.
Oh boy!
So that they can have a narrative that they can say about the indigenous people that they are not progressive.
All right, thank you, Raji. Yes, that's a good one. Gentlemen, let's come to Zelensky's war that is still raging. During the week, Russia hit Ukraine real hard, and that prompted Zelensky to appoint new commander of his land force. A new commander was appointed yesterday, Hanideli Shapalovi. I don't know how you call that. But anyway, Raji, this war doesn't seem like it's ending. I'm looking at it like this, gentlemen. I'm looking at is Russia aggravated by Trump coming in to do business with Ukraine, and they are trying to now elongate this war so that business thing might not even happen. What do you guys think? Because I don't see why the thing is escalating when it should be coming down.
Why will it not escalate when Europe is now arming Ukraine, giving them support instead of talking to you are all in Europe, Russia, Ukraine, you are all in Europe. Instead of having a better economic relationship with each other, you are aggravating each other. You are suspecting Russia of trying to expand without imagining in your mind that Russia wants to expand. Meanwhile, Russia has no intention to expand. Russia wants to live in peace.
Trump, Putin just renewed his force. I mean, and this renewal came after the signed business with United States, Russia, Ukraine, and United States. So don't you think that he's kind of jealous or he's not happy with that?
Using jealousy for Putin is just such a petty word to use.
Okay.
Russia will not allow American influence too close to its borders. That is a fact. America and Britain engineered the war to put Ukraine in such a position that they have to capitulate to everything that the USA wants, the United States wants. Now, the war has been going on. Russia will ensure that there's no stability in that area until they come to a very good relationship, a very good understanding of what the interest of America will be in that area. Yes, we have to be very careful. Russia will not allow it. The same way that even now, the U.S. are taking part of Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, as its own territory, in spite of the fact that they do not allow any Russian presence in that area.
George, tell us, you think this new commander for Ukraine land force, you think he could change the war game? Will he?
I don't think that Zelensky is acting a little bit on a frustrated, like a frustrated leader. That's what I'm seeing here. Now, the Russian forces, they have been, pushing hard upon Ukraine. And I believe that part of the reason is because America's involvement there is escalating the situation even more. Now, if it was other parts of the world, maybe they would have cowered a little bit. But Russia being involved, they refuse to cower to anything. And Putin will not bow down. He will never bow down to what you call a leadership of reconciliation headed by Trump, because he doesn't consider Trump to be a superior person to himself. Now, America used to rule, but there is a bipolar. It's not no longer unipolar type of world that we're living in. So that we have BRICS right now, which Russia is one superpower that belongs to that organization, and that means that Russia is ruling through that particular area. And a lot of decisions are being made that might even, make America to be a little weaker superpower. So that's what we're seeing right here. So the appointment of, Gennady Shapovalov, whichever way is as the new commander of Ukraine ground forces. They say that he's coming with a lot of experience, actually, that military experience. And he served as a military liaison in Germany and a commander of the Southern Eastern Military District. So he comes with a whole lot of experience. Hopefully, they'll be able to mastermind and do some other things. But the bottom line too, we want peace in that area. Too many people have died and too many people continue to die. So what we want is peace. And if there's a way to remove America out of to remove them out of the middle, maybe there will be a peace accord can be able to be reached.
A peace deal can be reached. Wow. Gentlemen, thank you. Let's Raji, I know you have something to say, but let's do a small break here and come back. Thank you.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Schengen Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Schengen Johnson, The Final Solution. It will come. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget the final solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Yeah, George, welcome back. Are you there?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, we hope to have Raju join us too. George, Trump decided that the U.S. role in the Israel-Iran conflict will come in 2 weeks' time. That is basically just telling us that Trump is backing out and trying to play smart in this whole thing.
No. Actually, I think what is happening is a declaration of war must go through the Senate and through the House of Assembly. But what is happening right here is because the war is not directly concerning the United States of America, Trump cannot act independently. So if they want to declare war to support Israel, they have to go through the House and through the Senate in order to declare war. And then what happens with that is also that the Congress must hear all the details when it comes to whatever information that Trump has. So what they're trying to avoid is what happened in Iraq, when they basically said that there were weapons of mass destruction and used that as an excuse to go and destroy that place. And then also we understand that what do you call it? The foreign minister of Iran recently made a pronouncement that if the U.S. gets involved in this particular war, that they will be sorry. So for Saeed to come out and then begin to bring those accusations, he said that they have more than enough on their table to deal with that situation. So whether they are just bringing out a wolf ticket to make themselves feel strong or not, we don't know. Trump had earlier issued a 2-week ultimatum after a missile strike from Iran hit southern Israel, damaging a whole lot of places, including the Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, and 71 people actually were casualties in that particular place. So now we're seeing what is happening is that they've been exchanging. And as a matter of fact, to get an update is, the commander of Israel Army is saying that they need to change regime to remove Ayatollah, their spiritual leader there now. But the question people are asking, we need to be very, very careful, because we saw what happened in Libya, We saw what happened in Iraq. We saw what happened in many places. When you remove the leader, you don't get any peace in that place. There's chaos. It was only recently that peace came to what do you call it, to Syria. So they have to be very careful in decision making, how to go and oust a spiritual leader, because if they do that to Iran, it could become worse than Iraq. So we need to be very careful with that, because they might get a leader now that will come out openly and don't care what they say. They will go for that uranium enrichment and seal it up. Let me tell you something else that is actually happening. A lot of people in the Arab area, for some reason, are rejoicing over this. They are happy that America is getting involved. So I'm not quite sure whether UAE is in support of America joining the war, but they seem to be happy over that situation.
George, thank you very much. You gave it well. Raji, welcome back. Trump says the involvement of the United States in this conflict will come within 2 weeks, and I said maybe it's a way of backing out, but George said otherwise. What's your own? Because 2 weeks. I mean,
there have been talk about targeting the Ali Khamenei, the leader of Iran. I don't see how anybody will have the audacity to decide for any country who its leaders will be. There's a raving lunatic in Israel that nobody is touching. What is the point of Israel in trying to remove, in targeting the leader of Iran? What is it? Now let me tell you that after 9/11, there was something that was put down in the U.S. secret by CIA and the deep state in the USA. They were going to fight 7 wars in 5 years, and all those wars are wars for Israel. They started with Iraq. Iraq has no hand in the 9/11. They disrupted Iraq. More than 1 million Iraqis died in that process. They executed the leader of Saddam Hussein, who was their own prop before. They went into Libya. They killed Gaddafi. There's no peace in Syria. Israel is there's no peace in Sudan. There's no peace in Yemen. Israel is in Lebanon. If you think there's peace in Syria, you are joking, because the people who are there are ISIS, who are all proteges of the CIA. No country has any power to dictate for another country whose leaders should be. America has done that in more than 20 countries throughout the world, going into a country, deposing its leaders and imposing dictators who come to them. That the whole thing was started by Henry Kissinger, who ensured that there will be no peace in the whole of Middle East, and therefore they put a cankerworm in there that will be the fly in the oil that will be polluting the oil, and that is like Israel. Now, as it is now, let me make just one point. As it is now, you realize that Israel has no boundaries. Israel is going to determine its own boundaries. It includes, and there's a map of a greater Israel that includes most of Sinai, the whole of Gaza, and the Middle and part of Jordan up to Lebanon. That is because as this Israel has no boundaries. The boundaries that Israel take are the boundaries that Israel decides for itself. What has Israel
my own comment on what you just said about Henry Kissinger Kissinger, I don't agree with that much because no one man can determine what happens in a region. I mean, the Middle East is too big for Henry Kissinger's plan and whatever to say he doesn't want peace there.
Because you don't understand the American.
That it is not all of the Middle East that is at this whole thing. The Emirates, those 5 Emirates are also not in all of this thing going on in the Middle East. Liberals.
There'll be no peace. There'll be
Egypt.
The agenda. Let me complete. The agenda was such that unless the Middle East Emirates, especially Saudi Arabia, comes under the protection of the US, there'll be no peace, and they have achieved that. When King Saud, hold on, when King Saud in 73 started that OPEC thing, he was assassinated. He was assassinated by a cousin who has been indoctrinated in the US. Now they intentionally pushed Iraq to attack Kuwait. And when it attacked Kuwait, they now made it as a point to Saudi Arabia. So look, after Kuwait, Saddam is coming for you. And therefore, the Saudis put up more than $300 billion to buy weapons and ammunition that they did not need. And then they now had a foot in Saudi Arabia. That was the thing that got Osama bin Laden very, very angry, because they did not want any American boots in Saudi Arabia. Because at that time, Al Qaeda, which had been,
Alain Karaji, do you agree that most of these countries surrounding Iran are happy that America is getting involved? Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that. It may be in your imagination that America is
not in my own imagination. It's all out there. You need to read. Don't read only one-sided news. Read all the news.
Of course.
Yeah, because UAE is happy. They're happy that because one of the things, the more Iran is trying to equip themselves militarily, the more the countries surrounding them are very unhappy because they don't want Iran. Iran is untamed. They act like untamed animal. That's exactly the reason why they don't want it to have those missiles and those.
It is the fear mongering.
It is not
fear mongering that the United States is putting into the hands of all of them.
It is not.
Do you know that?
It is not.
Do you know that?
You can't allow a country like Iran to have a nuclear warhead.
In 1952, there was a democratically elected president of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh. Because he nationalized the British petroleum, the national assets of Iran, for the good of Iran. At that time, British petroleum was taking more than 99%, let's say 90% of the proceeds of oil from Iran, and giving Iran only 10%. The man came in and nationalized it. Yes, and nationalized the Iranian oil. Because of that, America came in and deposed him and imposed Reza Pahlavi. Because Iran was one of the most stable countries in the Middle East, secular until America went in and destabilized the whole thing. Now, because the major defenders of Iranian interest were the Malams, were the mullahs, they were able to put a lot of pressure and chase Reza Pahlavi away. Now, what they are trying to do now is that they want to bring in maybe a grandson of Reza Pahlavi to come in again it cannot happen. It cannot happen. No matter what is happening inside Iran now, no matter what is happening inside Iran, with all the repression by the mullahs, they will not take any Pahlavi again. So let that be.
Raji has his own views on this.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying
yes,
what they cannot do, what they cannot
yes,
do. This
what
is
they
a
cannot do.
nation, that have factions within the nation. So you cannot sit over
Which
here and tell us.
nation does not have factions?
No, what I'm saying is this:
Is
when you're
Nigeria
saying,
united?
you can emphatically say they cannot. You cannot say that within a sovereign nation. They can make a
There's no
decision
way.
tomorrow.
Reza Pahlavi is gone. His people are gone forever, because this cousin that they are talking about, this whether it's a grandchild or something, is Jewish,
All right, gentlemen,
and
let's
it will not be acceptable
let's just
in
wrap up on this one. Viewers, you're listening to us talking about the Iranian-Israel war. This morning also, one of the updates is Russian news service said that Kremlin has issued a fresh plea to Trump to avoid using bunker booster bombs. We know about the bunker boosting bomb on Iranian nuclear facility. Because it might escalate into conflict all across the Middle East. So maybe these are some of those warning that has come to the United States and making them to back up to say 2 weeks time they are considering this whole thing. But let's leave that. I know George has a lot to say on this. Let's come to something that might help our viewers. Financial issue in Nigeria and also in Africa. The SEC is the Security and Exchange Commission in Nigeria, is warning the general public of investing in some kind of
Cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the Ziga coin, there's the Zam Ziga, all crazy names. George, do you have a story on this?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the past few months, there's been a lot of some of this Ponzi scheme that came into Nigeria, wiped out a lot of people's money, and then the Security and Exchange Commissions were basically called upon that they can do better than what they have been doing, because nobody hears about these companies until they go belly up and take all the money from people and run away. And most of the time, you can't find the leaders of these organizations. So, Nigerian Security and Exchange Commission flagged Zuga coins, including variant of SZCB and Zamzuga GPT. Also told people to be careful. Now, we know that a lot of vulnerable people, ignorant, vulnerable people, even after you warn them, will go and invest their money out of desperation, and they're going to lose, and they will come back and start crying. But, the government, the SEC, they are exonerating themselves ahead of time by telling people don't go and invest in these companies, because the promoters of these digital assets are not even registered with them. And to operate within Nigerian capital market is illegal. So they classify both of these coins as lacking intrinsic value, real world utility, and legitimate backing projects. So people are warned, don't put your money in these companies, because they're just going to use the Ponzi scheme and take all your money and run away.
Simple. And we're proud to do this. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to take out one word from what Sir George said. Vulnerable. Look, these guys are not vulnerable. They know what they are doing.
I'm talking about Nigerians.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Those who are investing in all those cryptocurrencies, they are not vulnerable. These are
I think they are vulnerable to the degree that they fail to understand the scheme that is behind the Ponzi scheme.
Look,
so
didn't I tell you after that? Which one was it? Was it CBs or whatever? And Nigerians had lost more than 1.3 trillion naira. I heard some people around my area still discussing about going to put 50,000 in some scheme, and then they will quickly take their money out before it becomes a scheme. They know what they are doing. They are taking risks. They are not vulnerable. They are taking risks. Yeah.
Anyway, we are proud to do this here because we want to safeguard our viewers, our people.
Yes.
So the Security and Exchange Commission is warning Nigerians, please take heed. Take heed. Don't play with your. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sir Mark, Mr. Mark, how would you hear a name like Damzagi, and then you go and put your thousands of naira in it? You don't know where it is. You don't know it is such an amorphous figure. There's no way you can point to an office or to a structure that you can go to if your money gets stuck. Zamzagi or Zigizagi or whatever it is. No.
Imagine
Zamzuga.
No. It tells you that it's going to Zuga you. So why are you going to?
The point here from our desk, from Schengen News Media, we are warning, just like the commission had warned that such coins are often linked to pump and dump scheme. And this is something that has caused investors significant financial losses. So Nigerians, please do not invest in these companies. You have been forewarned, so learn from your past mistakes. And those stupid ones who will invest, woe unto you when you lose your money. Don't come crying in the public.
If you can count the number of such Ponzi schemes, it will be more than 20. And yet, every time they come, Nigerians use billions. That's why, you see, that's probably why the government continues to oppress the people, because if people have money, if they can be losing 1.something trillion, and that one has come in and they are ready to go into it, they have lost billions before. How are they making their money? So the government keeps on squeezing you to know how are you making money.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's wrap it up with the news, not too good news happening from Mexico. The Hurricane Eric, the hit southern coast of Mexico, and cleanup is going on now, but a lot of people have died. And in fact, they even don't know accurate number of deaths and injury, but that's a sad one coming from South America. George, what's happening in Mexico?
Yeah, I think the hurricane, I think it touched down on Thursday. Hurricane Eric made a landfall in Oaxaca as a Category 3 storm before weakening the inland, killing 2 people. And then a man was electrocuted in Osaka, and a child was swept away in Guerrero. Coastal towns like Lagunas and Chachua and Puerto Escondido, suffered heavy damages with flood streets and trees, widespread power outages all over the place. So the president, Claudia, reported that over 123,000 power outages in 15 road closures and ongoing heavy rain, and multiple states are still suffering. So emergency shelters, they have created emergency shelters where they will put a whole lot of people that have been misplaced, and the houses that were burnt down. So the storm revived painful memories of the previous hurricanes like Otis and John, which caused significant losses and life and properties in recent years. So our condolences to most of these people from Mexico, and hopefully internationally they will get some help to help those that has lost their properties and their houses.
Thank you, George. You're right, Raji. How do Africa see this? We know Africa too is going through its own. Nigeria has a flood issue last time. Many people were swept away. Tell us, give us a weather report.
Yes. Well, so far so good. You see, God is so good. God will not visit upon you too many trials and tribulations. With all our economic problems, if we had typhoons or hurricanes in Africa, our situation would be rather dire. The floods that happened in Benue, Niger State, seem to have receded now, and people are picking up pieces of their lives. The bridge between Mokwa and the bridge between Mokwa and Jeban is still down, and movement around that axis has been so limited. Condolences to the people in Niger, in Benue, in Mexico, who lost their lives in the natural disasters.
Thank you, Raji. Raji, added to that, what's the update on the Benue massacre? What's new?
Well, just promises and promises and promises. Now, is it my solution would have been very simple. There should be no IDP camps across the whole of Benue as we speak. Okay. Return them to their ancestral homes. If you are going to bring all the structures in the IDP camps with them to their old homes, let it be, so that you start settling their lives. Anybody who wants to go back, encourage them to go back, and government should take interest in resettling them.
George, you agree with that?
Well, I do 100% agree with that, because what we have done is a systematic genocide that is taking place. Nobody is asking questions. Who are fueling these people from targeting these particular areas? We go there, we make all this noise that we make. The president is visiting them, and then the governors in that area acting like, they're bringing the Messiah that is coming, rather than, a place where they're supposed to be mourning for the people that have been dying.
Yes.
Now that they're bringing him back as, put a royal reception for him. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. They even, talking about having women to wear different ashebi, to showcase different colors, to bring,
Did you see the soldiers? Did you see soldiers cutting grass? Children staying in the rain,
in the rain, singing to him, because the royal regal king of the world is coming. When people are dying, and you're supposed to be mourning for these people, why are they dressing up like that? They are not even, they're supposed to. It is so unfortunate. And what kind of psychophancy some of these governors that are doing is despicable and unheard of. Your people are dying daily. There are no accountabilities to the people that are coming to suffocate your people, take them out of the way, take their houses. And what you're doing is putting a red carpet, to bring the royal king of Zamunda to Borno State. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, the president should have should have made some comment against that. I'm here to mourn. I'm not here for any fanfare. I'm not here for all of this. And he come dressed looking like a mourner, because he's the chief mourner in this whole case now. So it's not also the governor's fault. It's also the president's team.
That is what you expected. The president came in his Sunday best, or this Friday best. He was looking dapper.
No, listen to me. The way the president dresses, okay, is okay for me as far as I'm concerned. But the fact of the matter is that you are bringing him in there not because he wanted to come and inaugurate a project. You're bringing him there simply because your people are being killed almost on a bi-monthly basis or monthly basis. Thousands are being wiped away. Some of these people are still in ID camps. And then you bring these children in the rain. And after they come and sing to the president, most of them will have catarrh. They will have, all kinds of pneumonia. And there's no money to help these people. There are no hospitals to treat them. The hospitals will not even accept them until money is paid. These are things that we really need to. Our conscience needs to be pricked in Nigeria. We have lost all moral conscience in that country.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly, it's so despicable and it's not unacceptable. We condemn such acts. We condemn it from our desk.
Thank you. We condemn it. Some viewers were joining. Gentlemen, it's been beautiful. The week updates have gone so well. George, we want to thank you for being around, giving updates. Raji, you are awesome. So let's see what happens. And Monday, George, whatever follow-up we have, we'll bring it on.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, viewers, for joining Between the Line and Wednesday, Friday updates. We're done for the week, and we want to say happy weekend. George, what do you have?
Well, I just want to bless everybody. Let's live in peace. No turmoil, no dissension, no contention. Have a fantastic weekend. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless our President, Asiwaju, and all the leaders. And God remove corruption from Nigeria.
That's a tall order. Corruption from Nigeria. There's no country without corruption. Let those who are corrupt.
We're on top.
Let those who are corrupt, when they are found out, to go through the normal process of being punished for their sins. I wish the success of the current government in Nigeria is our success. We don't pray for its failure. We pray for success. And may God give the president good advisors. May he also have the discerning spirit to note when he's being given bad advice.
Yes,
to be able to do the right thing.
But one of the most beautiful things that Asiwaju said recently, Jagaban said that I listen to critics because this visit to Bono was simply because of the media. He was not intending to do so. He was laxed behind it until the media started crying out, and he listened to the constructive criticisms, and then he did it. And kudos to you, Mr. President. Thank you for visiting this.
All right, gentlemen, let's go. We talk on Monday. Thank you.
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve.